Speaking of more access to tools, what are your thoughts on MCP, Model Context Protocol?
I am so we published inside of Dell. It's not public yet, but inside for our own purposes, a set of agentic guidelines. So I haven't found many other people have done this yet. We wrote it down, and we have rules now about how to use agents, what technology to use, what standards for identity, and one of the areas we focused on was MCP. Now, MCP is a little confusing to people because people sometimes call it an interworking protocol. It is not. Protocols like A to A are interworking protocols. Those are communication protocols between agentic systems. MCP, Model Context Protocol, is a very good standard to create an abstraction level for tool use and data access. An agent by itself should be able to perceive the world around it and take action. MCP gives us an interface to do that that's standardized. Now, that's great. That's the good news part. The bad news part, it's a brand new protocol. It was developed in the context of kind of making a public LLM able to consume a lot of data. It isn't really enterprise grade yet. It has a lot of security work to be done. There's good work going on. We're adding OAuth and some other things to it. But to be perfectly honest, as a protocol, it's very early, but it's incredibly powerful. And it's incredibly dangerous if you're not careful about how you use it. So in Dell, we have one of our guidelines is we made a decision to centralize all of our MCP servers into a controlled environment. If the protocol itself cannot exert the right kind of controls, I'm going to put it in an environment where I can wrap it with those controls and make sure that it doesn't do anything crazy. Because, like I said, wonderful protocol. It's lightweight. It's standardized. We think it's a keeper, and we expect most agents in the world to use MCP to perceive the world around them and to access tools. But the evolution of it for enterprise grade use is still in front of us. And so people are going to have to be very aware of this powerful protocol can do way more than you think it can do. And it might do things you don't expect. And in an enterprise context, you need to put some controls around it. But it's a good problem to have. We'll make it better. But it is, in fact, just like A to A, one of, I think, the long-term protocols that agents are going to use.
Nicely said, as your answers always are. That was really crisp and easy to understand. Lots of potential impact with MCP, but definitely security concerns. And it sounds like you figured out how to wrap that in an environment at Dell so that you can feel a level of security with MCP. It sounds like the best of both worlds. Really quickly, to kind of just wrap up your 2025 predictions, I think it's interesting that you specifically had said that agentic would be the word of the year for 2025. And so a publication that I read, the publication that I read the most, the news source that I have for 80 or 90% of my information is The Economist. And at the time of us recording today, The Economist just announced a couple of days ago that their word of the year is slop.
Yep. All right.
And that's been another big plague. In addition to the misuse of agentic AI, how are you guys controlling AI slop internally at Dell?
Yeah, we're a little different than maybe I guess the mass hysteria around using AI. As you know, we took a very top-down approach. We targeted very specific use cases at scale. We focus on, the methodology that we use is quite rigorous, and it basically just says, look, we're doing this for business outcome. We're identifying the most important processes and the most important parts of our business that are going to have the biggest impact on productivity. And then we're laser focused on getting those particular problems solved at scale. We've only deployed maybe less than probably 30 actual AI use cases in the company, but these use cases have ROIs in the 10 to 1, 30 to 1, and have transformed our sales, services, supply chain, and engineering organizations. So we got really big impact from very targeted things. By the way, if you remember that MIT report, what did it say? 95% of projects fail. The ones that don't are the ones that you focus on a few projects and get them done at scale. Because of that, we don't have a lot of slop. Because what we didn't do, and this is, some people chose to do it, we chose not to. We did not just let these technologies run loose inside of our organization. Of course, you're going to get slop. Everything has a distribution curve. If you give, I don't know, 500,000 people access to a random AI tool and hope for the best, you're probably going to have some pretty cool things happen, and you're going to have a lot of really bad things happen. And unfortunately, that's not a strategy in our mind. So we didn't take that approach. And so at least I feel comfortable that the projects that we implemented and the processes we went after largely achieved their objective because the objective was very clear from the beginning, and we were able to control the AI system around it, make sure that it had accuracy and relevance, et cetera. So if slop's the word of the year for them, I agree. There's a lot of slop out there, but the way you mitigate slop is to not be sloppy, be focused, be targeted, be disciplined. And that is something that, unfortunately, with all the hysteria around AI, a lot of people have kind of just said, I got to move, I got to do something. It's better to do something than nothing. I would argue it's better to do nothing than to do chaos. And so, that's been the dialogue. But yeah, again, not everybody has benefited from that, but we at least have slop countermeasures with discipline and focus.